Phrasal Verb Activator 2 Britlish English Activation Pack. Phrasal verbs. Many students lay off the study of phrasal verbs, but this is a huge mistake for anyone who wants to become proficient in English. The reason for this is simple. Native English speakers use phrasal verbs with alarming regularity. If you can't, won't, or don't use them, you'll never get away with claiming you have a good level of English. I hope you're with me on this. What are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are no different to any other piece of English vocabulary that you need to learn to develop your English skills. Phrasal verbs have a main verb followed by a particle. The particle is typically an adverb or a preposition. In three-part phrasal verbs we can have two particles. This phrasal verb activation pack will help you to catch on. Phrasal verb problems. The problem with phrasal verbs is that their meanings cannot always be guessed from the words themselves. Not only this, but many phrasal verbs also have more than one meaning. With some phrasal verbs we can separate the verb from the particle, with others we cannot. Some phrasal verbs need an object and some do not need an object, while others can both need an object or not need an object depending on the meaning. You really need to call on your active vocabulary to use phrasal verbs properly. Phrasal verb advantages. The reason we use phrasal verbs so much is that they say much more than the words alone. Take the phrasal verb catch on, for instance. I can say he soon caught on. If I didn't use a phrasal verb, I would have to say something like, at first he had no idea what was happening, but after a very short time he began to understand what was happening. Phrasal verb activation packs. To help you learn, remember and use over 2,000 of the most common and useful phrasal verbs, I've called on my many years of teaching experience to bring you this series of phrasal verb activation packs. For each pack, I've randomly selected 10 phrasal verbs from my list in order to explore how, when, and why they are used. Though most phrasal verbs have more than one meaning, I concentrate on only one meaning of the phrasal verbs in this phrasal verb activation pack. Other meanings will be dealt with in future phrasal verb activation packs. After you've studied the phrasal verbs, you'll have the chance to activate the 10 phrasal verbs by using them in a series of exercises. Today's phrasal verbs. Be in for, be with, bring round, call on, catch on, dry up, get across, get away with, lay off, see through. Be in for. Find yourself in prison due to an offence you've committed. What are you in for? Some people are in for life. I'm in for armed robbery. I've no idea what he's in for. In for cannot be separated even with a pronoun. In for doesn't need an object. Be with. Agree with someone about something. Are you with me on this? Yes, I'm with you on this. No, I'm not with you on this. The government is with the people on this issue. Be cannot be separated from the article with. Be with does need an object as we need to be with somebody. Bring round. Resuscitate someone from an unconscious state. The nurse brought the patient round after the operation. They tried to bring Simon round, but he wouldn't wake up. You were unconscious for 5 minutes before they managed to bring you round. Didn't they used to use smelling salts to bring people round? Bring must be separated from the particle round. Bring round does need an object as we must bring someone round. Call on. To summon up something or have recourse to it. The police are often called on to resolve family arguments. I had to call on all my previous experience to resolve the situation. I've never called on my parents for financial help. Do your kids ever call on you to help them with their bills? Call on cannot be separated even by a pronoun. Call on does need an object as we must call on somebody or something. Catch on. Begin to understand something or realize what's happening. It took me a while, but I gradually caught on to what he was trying to achieve. It took me some years to catch on to the sort of woman she really was. So you finally caught on, did you? Nobody seemed to catch on to the fact that the government never wanted Brexit to happen. Catch on cannot be separated even with a pronoun. Catch on doesn't need an object, but it can take one after to. Dry up. Lose all moisture and become completely dry, hard and shriveled. The automatic watering system failed and the plants have all dried up. Even after heavy rain, Seville's streets quickly dry up once the sun comes out. After drying out in the sun for a few days, the dried fruit is packaged. The sun has dried the soil up so that it's as hard as concrete. Dry can be separated from the particle up. Dry up does need an object as we need something to dry up. Get across. To move from one side of something to another. We had to use a boat to get across the river. As soon as the traffic stopped, I ran quickly to get across the road. There's no way we can get across this valley before nightfall. They got across the ditch by using a fallen tree. Get across cannot be separated with this meaning. Get across does need an object as we must get across something. Get away with. Escape without receiving punishment for bad actions. There's no way he's going to get away with stealing all that money. I can't believe that he got away with it. Some people really do get away with murder. I'll personally make sure you don't get away with it. Get away with is a 3-part phrasal verb and cannot be separated even by a pronoun. Get away with does need an object as we need something to be getting away with. Lay off. Leave a person, activity or thing alone. Just lay off me. The teacher told the older boy to lay off the younger boy. He tried to lay off the markets for a while but soon went back to his old ways. You need to lay off those computer games and do your homework. Lay off cannot be separated with this meaning. Lay off does need an object as we have to lay off something or someone. See through. To have sufficient supply for a period of time. This firewood isn't going to be enough to see us through the winter. I wonder if you could lend me a little money to see me through to the end of the week. He has enough supplies in his cellar to see him through a nuclear winter. The energy bars should give you enough strength to see you through to the end of the marathon. See must be separated from the particle through. See through must have an object, a thing to be seen through. Phrasal verb activation pack. Now that we've seen how each of these phrasal verbs can be used, we'll practice using them. Each time you do the phrasal verb activation pack, you'll be given some random questions from a database of questions. There are enough exercises to see you through a few hours of study. To get a new random set of questions, refresh your browser. Dictionary. Some words in this phrasal verb activation pack will be new to you. You may need to call on the dictionary of the words used in this phrasal verb activation pack, which I've included as a resource. I'm sure that with the definitions in the dictionary, you'll soon catch on to the meaning of the words. Download the dictionary from the resources link in the top left of the phrasal verb activation pack. Vocabulary Activator. The Vocabulary Activator will help you find out just how much of the vocabulary in this phrasal verb activation pack you've added to your active vocabulary. Each time you do the Vocabulary Activator, you'll be given some random definitions to put a word to. You can get away with not doing the Vocabulary Activator, but I really recommend that you do it to really activate this vocabulary. To get a new set of questions, refresh your browser. English activation packs are only available at Britlish.com. Become a Britlisher and get free activation packs today. I look forward to welcoming you as a Britlisher at Britlish soon. Goodbye for now.